Okay, today I'm in Wales, curiously, and it's the 12th of April, and I'm putting up another video for you to look at. I want to really point out that it's not sufficient simply to watch the video. You need to look at it and then use it as a jumping off point to actually do some research yourself. So in the one that you're just looking at now, you'll find names, and remember that 20 marks are for examples. It's worth checking out these names to find out more about what's at issue in terms of the impact of new generation consoles, but more especially the games which are now being written are beginning to appear on these new generation consoles. Tomorrow, or maybe even later today, I'm going to put up another one which is to do with small scale video games production. But remember, it's for you to work on following up and deepening your understanding and deepening your knowledge of the video games industry. So keep at it, and I hope you're working hard at things, because come Monday I'm going to be marking your blogs, and you can see how I've been creating my blog for you, and you need to be creating your own blog for yourself. Good afternoon.
The next generation video games consoles, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, launched to much fanfare at the end of last year. But the games that they launched with had a decidedly last generation feel about them. Well, that was true until now. Now we're starting to see games arrive which use the full processing grunt of these new devices to give you a much richer picture, to have more things going on in the shot and more detail in the background, for example. Mark Chislak has been putting the latest batch of blockbuster games through their paces.
Sensitive, heart-wrenching, a 360-degree journey circumnavigating the emotional roundabout. Titanfall is none of these things.
You got it. Stand by for Titanfall.
It is, however, an Xbox and PC exclusive, featuring online multiplayer jetpack-equipped futuristic grunts, leaping tall buildings in a single bound, while blowing away similarly equipped enemy futuristic grunts. And while it might seem a touch unsporting, giant mechs taking on infantry, the balance between quick and nimble pilots and the powerful but lumbering titans creates surprisingly satisfying gameplay. A superior shooter which helps demonstrate the capabilities of Microsoft's take on the next gen admirably. Microsoft isn't alone in bagging exclusive games for its machines. Sony's PlayStation 4 is about to receive its very own much-anticipated next-gen title. It's a game which thrusts the player into the super-powered shoes of a character who has most definitely ticked the sartorial box labelled emo. Infamous Second Son is a third-person, sandbox-style adventure set in a totalitarian Seattle, in a world where superpowered humans are treated with fear and suspicion. The protagonist possesses the power to adopt the abilities of other superhumans. This can manifest as turning into a cloud of smoke or throwing beams of neon at enemies. There's a saying that's often associated with superheroes: with great power comes great responsibility. However, in this game, the player can choose to be heroic and nice, or villainous and very, very nasty. In-game events in the story will alter depending on the path the player decides to follow, good or evil.
Don't make me break that handsome nose of yours.
Flexing the PS4's processing prowess, Second Son makes jumping across rooftops or turning into a puff of smoke before laying waste to gangs of enemies look effortless, a task which I suspect the previous generation's machines would have struggled to achieve.
Not bad.
When it comes to sneaky, stealthy espionage action, the acknowledged master of the genre is Hideo Kojima, the creator of the Metal Gear series of games. Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes acts as the prologue to the full Metal Gear Solid 5 game, which will be released later this year.
Kept you waiting, huh?
And if that voice sounds familiar, it's because 24's Kiefer Sutherland has lent his gravelly growl to the game's protagonist, Snake. Set in the 1970s, there's one main mission and 5 side missions, which provide about 4 to 5 hours of playtime. This is classic Metal Gear, sneaking and stalking, avoiding guards, cameras and flashlights in an attempt to rescue prisoners from a mysterious military outpost. The gameplay environment is now pretty big, so big in fact that Snake can commandeer vehicles to get from A to B. And items or equipment the player comes across in that environment, like anti-aircraft emplacements, can be used to assist Snake in his mission. As with all Metal Gears, a more stealthy style of play is rewarded over a firearms-friendly, all-guns-a-blazing, gung-ho approach, which often leads to the player discovering that their on-screen character has a severe allergy to bullets. Fans eager to get their fill of Kojima's slick brand of Hollywood-inspired stealth 'em up will no doubt lap up Ground Zeroes, a game which is perhaps best described as the appetizer to Metal Gear Solid 5's main course.
Mark Chislak. Now, the games we've just seen are the equivalent of Hollywood blockbuster movies, and AAA companies can often have more than 100 people working on each title. But the games industry grew from people writing computer programs on their own. And some developers are now leaving the big firms and returning to this bedroom programming mentality. One example is Papers, Please. Nominated for a video game BAFTA this week, developer Lucas Pope left gaming giant Naughty Dog to develop his low-res hit.